Hello and welcome to another episode of Laptop Retrospective, and today I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about a laptop accessory that is an absolute essential, however, normally does not necessarily get the spotlight, and that of course is the charger. Now, there are many different kinds of charger that have kind of evolved over the years. And today I just wanted to spend some time, kind of like a dedication to the different types, what they've done well, what needs to still be improved, and in my opinion, which computer has the best charger out there right now currently that I've used. So to start off, what I'm actually going to do is show you an odd duck. Now, this one is a universal charger. And this one happens to be from Kensington. Now, my very first laptop was an open box special and did not come with its actual official charger, so I had to buy a universal one. And the universal one came in this little pouch like this, and inside it had all sorts of different adapters, and looking at the fact that it came with this should give many of you an idea of when it was purchased and just how much of a rage that this was. Now, most of the laptops that were kind of coming out used the barrel plug. And the barrel plug would remain a staple and has for many laptops, depending on what size of barrel plug, for a very long time indeed. It's simple, it's cheap to manufacture, and it's unlikely that this will actually fail. These are normally built quite well. The part that normally will fail is while it is plugged into a laptop, if there's any kind of shear pressure put on it, it's usually the connector on the motherboard or on the power board inside that ends up taking the abuse and the solder joints cracking there. But for the most part, this is and has remained almost a standard part and solution for charging a laptop. I'm also going to throw this in here as a bonus. This is a unique little add-on. I'm not 100% sure what this was used for. It has been lost in my memory to the sands of time, and I have no idea what it was used for. If you happen to know, I'd be interested to hear about it in the comments down below. So we're going to move on from the universal adapter, and we are going to continue looking at our barrel plugs, but with a classic Lenovo 65 watt adapter. They came in a variety of different configurations, but this one is held as an excellent little adapter just because of how widely it was used across its models. The fact that you could unplug this and it was a universal connection here was certainly a bonus. And of course, we are also using a barrel plug which is shielding a little copper insert on the inside that is providing power along with the jacket. And again, incredibly robust, well built. You're more likely to damage the power jack on the actual laptop itself rather than this particular cable. And this one is a genuine Lenovo part, and it was manufactured, I believe, in 2011, and it is held up surprisingly well. In fact, you really can't tell the fact that it's, getting up there almost to a decade in terms of its age. So again, excellent solution. Very respectable. No bells or whistles, as we'll see in some of our other adapters, but it does the trick. Now, sticking with Lenovo for a moment, we are going to take a look at the updated adapter that they would make, which has got this rectangular plug, if you will. So they did away with the barrel plug and they went with the rectangular one. And the primary reason that they did this was the thickness of the machines was getting reduced, and having a barrel plug actually was a factor in how high or how thick the chassis had to be to support it. So if you reduce the thickness, then obviously that will certainly help. It's still very well built. It's crimped over like a USB end that we would normally see. It's very durable, even though the shape may lead to stress. However, I haven't heard of these failing in a good long while. The power brick has gotten considerably smaller, primarily the fact that they're supplying power to lower wattage CPUs. You don't need to put the charge in there quite as fast. Once again, we are using a somewhat universal, but not as universal as the previous charger. However, these ends are still fairly common and can be purchased in all sorts of different places. Nice and light, and of course you can service half of the cord without having to replace the other components. So an excellent choice to be sure. Now, the next adapter probably needs no introduction because it really did take the market in a lot of ways by storm, and that was actually the MagSafe charger from Apple. Now, I only have a MagSafe 2 charger, but there's actually a lot to talk about here, and it's actually one of the main reasons I wanted to make this video. As you can imagine by looking at this, it has had what you would assume to be a rough life, and I'm going to remove some of this tape if I can to show you a couple of things. As you can probably tell, and I'll zoom in just for clarity's sake here, this one's had a very, very rough go. And it's not that it was abused in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I only had this charger in use for about a single year. However, the plastic that was used to manufacture this white cable was not durable at all. In fact, it just crumbles, like it peels. It's sticky gunk. And you can kind of see that come off, hopefully, in the video. So as I said, it just crumbles off in little pieces. And from what I've read, this has to do with the company that manufactured the charger having access to bad plastics. But this is not only unsafe, but also unsightly. And it's interesting to note that this happened across a few generations of MacBook. I'm not 100% sure where it started and stopped, but we'll talk more on that later. The nice thing about this particular charger is a couple of things. First off, this power adapter for the wall, if it was too heavy or took up too much space, you could easily just walk that off and not only add some additional cable length, but have a much more robust connector. So you did have drop-in options, which were a nice touch. The primary function, however, was the actual MagSafe adapter itself. This would connect magnetically to the side of the computer. It would not go really inside, with the exception of this lip here. You had a charging LED that let you know whether or not the lid was closed, if the battery was fully charged. And of course, if somebody kicked the cable or pulled it, the idea was that once it would move vertically rather than horizontally, the cable would disconnect and hopefully save your laptop from a little bit of a spill. So that has definitely been a feature for this fellow. Now, I have purchased in my life 2 MacBooks. This is the older adapter, and it has not aged well. And then I have this newer one. However, it is plagued with essentially the same problem. It just started a little later. Now, it is worth mentioning that this doesn't crumble anywhere near as bad, but as you can tell, definitely not safe to use any longer and doesn't even work. In fact, I feel like if I were to tug on this, the whole cable is literally going to pop right off and out of the power supply brick here. One thing that I do want to point out with both of these chargers is actually who manufactured them, because if you are looking to purchase a replacement, you probably want to keep this in mind. So hopefully that is in focus, and we'll turn it right side up. And you can see that this was made by Lighton Technology, and the other adapter was also made by the same company. So this is something that I would recommend that you are keeping in mind if you are buying these from a third-party supplier and you want to save yourself some money and not buy them directly from Apple, and I don't blame you at all, stay away from the light-on ones. And if you cannot read in the buyer description, ask the buyer, and if they have no idea what they're talking about, or you're talking about, I should say, then that should be a hint that maybe you want to buy from someone that knows a little bit more about what's going on with these. Obviously, I do not recommend that you buy third-party chargers. There's a lot of information out there about how those have the potential to fry boards and things like that. So you can get OEM parts, just make sure that you are getting it from one of the companies that actually makes these chargers legitimately. Speaking of all that, because I have 2 broken MagSafe adapters, I have actually gone and purchased through my supplier a genuine OEM replacement part. So if we go ahead and open this up, we have the MagSafe and of course these stickers covering the logo, likely for export purposes. And you can see that this one is made by Delta Electronics, and then there's, I'm assuming, the Chinese factory name there. These tend to be the better made batch in terms of their cable and build quality versus the light-on electronics. So if you are looking to get a replacement one of these adapters, this is the company that seems to be better at making them than some of the others. Last but not least, I do want to talk about the Surface cable here. Now, I have mentioned this in the Surface Book 2 video about a couple of things. This is not a cable that's easy to manage. However, it is very well constructed, uses MagSafe, has an indicator light, but for whatever reason they didn't think to actually do the amber and green thing that Apple did. I wonder if that was a patent issue or what their decision process was behind that. Regardless, it is certainly a lighter let go in terms of the MagSafe 2. However, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It does come with a USB port built in to provide power to an additional device like a cell phone if you have a desk where this short cable allows you to rest the power brick. I don't recommend plugging this directly into a wall outlet and then having your phone somewhere on the floor. Really, it depends on how your workspace is laid out. The plus side is that this remains a universal plug, so if you are looking to extend that, you could say hop over to your favorite Lenovo adapter, grab that piece, and all of a sudden have a much greater reach to the wall. So there are ways that you can solve that problem. There's no nice way to cable manage this, but because the plastics are a better build quality, I'm actually holding this one out there with the exception of a couple of misgivings as being one of the better adapters that I've used, with the MagSafe 2 adapter being a very close second, and only a close second because of that durability issue that I mentioned earlier. Anyway, to bring it all home, I hope that you enjoyed this video taking a look at some of the different ways that we've been able to charge laptops over the years. And if you have a favorite charger or a charger that you can't stand, please tell me about it in the comments down below. I always love reading those stories. And if you enjoy this sort of content, make sure that you're giving it a thumbs up, sharing it around, and lastly, if you loved the content, make sure that you're subscribing for more. I'll see you next time.